Howdy y'all, Shark Scrapper here. Well, it is time to go after one of these smaller units that came in with the large racks. I have no idea what these are yet. I haven't looked at them. I hope you've enjoyed the series so far. I certainly have had a lot of fun breaking it down. Now then, I was trying to figure out, you know, how to get inside of these. So we got to figure out how to get this side off here. But fortunately, the other side is open. So let's do a quick look. You come out somehow or another. We'll figure that one out. So there's a bunch of empty space under here that they were using for storage. We've got another roll of that massive cable going on down there, and a box of something, some other wire. So let's take a look at what we got here. So here is a roll of that cable. Now, I took some over to the yard already to talk with them about this. They said that if I bring it in like this, they'll take it as number 2, no problem, because it's got that tin copper inside of it that is giving it the additional value. You know, otherwise they said, you know, man, if you pull that out, we're gonna have a hard time taking that as number 2 because there's so much junk on this. So I think that I'm just going to leave this the way it is, sell it as number 2, because I got a lot of stuff I have to do and time is always a challenge. Hey, so this is real nice. This is what they normally use for grounding cable. This is good number 1 insulated. So yeah, we'll set that aside for number 1 insulated. Now then, Perkin-Elmer MSM80 IDC. All right, so we had 2 screws at the top, and then this side panel comes in. Still haven't got this figured out. There's a latch here, and I don't know if it's locked or jammed, but it does not want to come out. Oops, aren't I a dummy? Oh man. Let's see. We have some nice boards here. They are slotted, and I don't see. All right, so it just pulls out. So that's a very nicely populated board. A lot of resistors. This is older style miniature components on this board, but a very nice board. Here's a crystal oscillator or an oscillator. Very nice board there. So here's the controller boards for this thing. There's some big motors here, so I am assuming that that this was a drive for something. Oh, interesting. All right, so I see this big circular thing here, and that kind of looks suspiciously like that size, those discs. So this may have been for data storage. Huh. Well, we're gonna find out. I'm thinking this is peripheral high, telecom high still, because it's so densely populated with IC circuits. But I'll check with Chris and make sure. And these are all ceramic. Yeah, these are all ceramic IC chips on this. Yeah, most of these are ceramic. There's some plastics on that. Oh, come on. Yeah. I wonder if this is telling me what these are. Transmitters, receivers, write PLO, find servo, decode fault circuit, data logic, read PLO. These may be telling us what these boards did for this system. this is a little bit different here. So here we've got the silver all over it, but otherwise they're pretty much the same board. Now these two don't like to play here apparently. See if I can get a better grip on one of them. There we go. Now this one has more tantalum capacitors, the old bullet shaped ones, more oscillators. All right. Well, I gotta tell you, this is really interesting. So this was the backplane board for where all of those boards were inserted. So they were all inserted down in there. You can see the gold pins and stuff down inside of there. But here we see these wired connections. So you got all these fine wires that are, you know, running between these pins and back here to these pins. This is really cool. I wonder if on boardsort.com's website they have a board called a wire pin board, I think it is, something like that. I wonder if that's what this is, if that's what that means. This is very cool. All right, well, I'm gonna have to bug Chris with another one. Well, they weren't kidding with the magnetic field. That's a very strong magnetic field, and it's making it somewhat challenging because there's a screw down in there, and every time I try to get down in there to unscrew it, my bit gets yanked out of the out of this thing. Oh man, that is it's frustrating, but it's funny. Yeah, it keeps yanking the bit out. Man, that is, yeah, that's a strong magnet for sure. All right, so this board is a power board. And it says danger high voltage, and that doesn't surprise me because it's got a bunch of caps on the back. 4 of them. There's some oscillators, so we'll get that taken apart and separate out the aluminum and stuff. And there's fuses for Mr. Matthews and such. All right, now a bunch more oscillators here. I have to work my way in this way because this magnetic field is so strong it's pulled the bit off of my driver and I can't get it unscrewed. So going in this way so that I can access both sides of it. I'm guessing that by now some of you have figured out what's going on here. This whole device, everything that you see here, is one of these. Yep, this is an old hard drive. This is the magnet. In today's hard drives, we have the little neodymiums that are driving reader heads back and forth. So here's your magnet. Your magnets, they drive a field here. This field changes, drives reader heads here, in and out, across discs that are spinning in here. And that's the discs right over there. Here's the various motors for making all that work. Folks, we are looking at a big knocking hard drive. This adds a whole new twist to what we're doing here, doesn't it? All right, so we have the reader heads in here. These springs, I think, were to keep, you know, help with the back and forth motion. So, let's So there's the reader heads. And this could be very interesting because we know that in These newer hard drives, the little reader head pin has some little gold tips on it. Oh my. Ooh. Come on, let's go find out. So let's see here. We've got some small Torx. There we go. Can't believe I guessed the right one. I'm going to do this by hand just to be a little bit careful. All right, they came off pretty easy, so I think we're okay to use the drill, but I am going to set the torque way down on this. Maybe not that far down. Now then, that's aluminum. We got ball bearings here to let it smoothly slide in and out. Nice copper coil here. And we have that. So, is there gold in that? There appears to be a plastic cover. So I'm going to try to pop off that plastic cover and we'll see what's underneath of that. Alas, there is no gold. It's just magnet, ferrite kind of material. If there is any gold in there, it's so tiny that I can't see it. And I checked all over this thing. Oh well. It was a cool thought for a while though, wasn't it? So let's see, we have a big transformer here. We've got some more motors, another board. We still haven't gotten into the disc pack, where the disc pack is. And I'm sure that something is wrong with this latch, and that's why it's not opening. But boy, that would be really nice if we could get that open. We'll get it open. I'm just a little frustrated I haven't been able to open it yet. Well, folks, there you have it. That is an old style hard disk drive. This is actually a disc pack, 4464. Precision device, handled with care. Nashua, made in the USA, Nashua, New Hampshire. So, yeah, the question is, what are these discs made of? And are there any vintage collectors out there? So you can see this motor here is turning. When I spin the disc, you can see this motor's turning. So this would have been connected, this is connected to this drive. That would cause this to spin, and then those reader heads would go in and out. That's what this is, a nice big old hard drive. This is so cool. All right, now I've got some empties. So let's see if, I think that what will happen is the tray shell will go over it. You can spin it down, pull the disc pack out. So let's see how that works. All right, so here's the top shell, and here's the bottom part. Now, could it be as simple as you put this down onto the top of it and then twist it to lock it in place? Maybe you have to screw it down in there. Oh, there we go. All right, so there's a lever here, and when you lift that lever, that lets you pull the disc pack up. And then if this was back in the day, if you were operating, you'd had it, this would have been in a very clean room, and then you would have put it right onto the tray here so that you now had your discs sealed in the tray containers to keep them, so you limited the exposure to dust and dirt and stuff of that nature. All right. Wow. And we have a bajillion screws down here. So we've got a lot of screws we have to get up out of the way in order to keep taking this hard drive apart. Now I do have to be I need to be a little more careful. I just noticed that some of these are stainless steel. So where the other cabinets, had no stainless steel hardware. Some of this is, and that kind of makes sense because we're talking about stuff that's inside of a hard disk. All right, I think I've got this thing ready to come off. Screws there to get that final latch out of the way. All right, I'm about to pick up the biggest hard drive I've ever picked up in my life. All right, most of you know that I don't usually scrap hard drives. I'm making an exception in this case. All right, what do we got here? So we have another motor, a dust collector. That's what this is. This is like a little vacuum. So I can see where there was airflow in here. That may have either been clean airflow. Oh, there was a filter on a plate that was up here. So they were filtering out the air, pulling it through the thing, and then out through here. I think that's what was going on. Anyway, yeah, I suspect that's what that was, to keep cooling air going through there. Or maybe they wanted to have a partial vacuum inside of there. Big transformer, some big caps, some more aluminum, and some more little motors here. This is a clock, so this would have probably been counting lifetime, you know, for maintenance purposes. So we've got on this tray here, what we have that's of value is just this motor, and then the rest of this, I'll get the wire off of here, get this transformer off here. So we've got these two things that'll go in with motors, but essentially this is, you know, shred after I get that stuff off of there. But this is what's really cool here. So we've got this big old chunk of aluminum that's making up the main part of the frame. We'll finish getting that disconnected and the motors, and then we'll be back in touch. So we're making progress here. I got the cable harness out of the way. This motor had 4 screws in it. Now that's out of the way, and we're going to get this motor, separate this aluminum still. Got to figure that one out still. All right, so we got the one of the arms out of the way here, some sort of retention mechanism. Anyway, we're going to get this tray off of here now. All right, so now we just have this metal tray. I'm pretty sure that's ferrous. Let's see, wait a minute. Let's see, yeah. So, there's a nice big chunk of aluminum, and I'll bet you that's stainless steel there. So we'll get those out of the, we'll get that out. Align track lock, shipping lock, pin store. All right, so anyway, we'll get this, finish getting this cleaned up, but that's a nice chunk of a cast aluminum. Let's see if we can do that again over here. So I'm just bracing it against my body. Then I can get enough torque on it to break the Loctite. All right. Other than this alignment bar here, we have and let's see. By the way, if any of you have ever wondered why I wear this t-shirt, this Kruger B t-shirt, it was a research vessel out of Puerto Rico that I used to do some research off of. And after a hurricane a few years ago, I lost track of the I wasn't able to contact the owners anymore. I've never heard what happened. I'm hoping that the boat that they just shut down after the hurricane and weren't able to operate anymore. I'm hoping nothing bad happened to them. But yeah, I did some work off for the Kruger Bee, so I wear this t-shirt as long as I can in their honor. All right, now we have this nice big chunk of aluminum. Nice big beefy chunk of aluminum here. And with the exception of this one alignment bar, which I'm not overly concerned about, I'll get that out of the, they called it an alignment bar. All right, so we end up with this nice beefy chunk of aluminum, and it's funny because we still see hard drives made out of aluminum, right? The cases. This is just a really big one. Now that we have fully identified what these smaller devices are, I think this one I'm going to hang on to, and I'm going to advertise it to the vintage computer people of the world. I'm going to give it a quick examination. It looks like it's all here, but I will do a quick examination on it. If all of the piece parts are there, then I think this one might get advertised to the vintage computer people of the world. See if anybody wants it. Shipping is going to be a real bear, but you just don't find these anymore. These are true antiques of the computer industry. So now that I know what I'm dealing with here, I don't want to just tear it apart. Of course, if any of you are vintage computer aficionados and you're interested, then by all means, give me a holler. Okay, I'm going to finish getting this all cleaned up. I hope you all have enjoyed this. There will be a couple more in the series. If you haven't seen all of the series leading up to this, there's a play link that you'll get linked to so you can see all of the scraps associated with this old vintage traffic control system and the different boards that we got out of the different racks and the way they were put together. Some very cool old computer technology here. We still have a couple more things that we're going to break down, but this has been so much fun working on this. I've really enjoyed sharing it with everybody. So let me know what y'all think, and like I said, if you haven't seen them, go check out the other ones that are up there for you somewhere.